Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and here we are with Doom 3, the Xbox version. And I actually have it backwards. There we go. Doom 3, the Xbox version, although this is not the Collector's Edition disc. The reason I know that is because it doesn't have Doom 1 and 2 on it. Somehow this got mixed up with the base version of Doom 3, but oh well, who cares? I'm, of course, joined by Raynick.
Hey.
And, of course, I'm joined by someone who's only shown up, like, I think, one live stream. Wolfman.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How are you?
Alright, so today we're playing some Doom 3. I'm a big fan of the Xbox version. This is actually the first version I actually played back in the day. At the time, I did not have a computer that even had any hope of running it. I was running an old Dell that had 256 megabytes of RAM and Intel integrated graphics. So yeah, there was no chance.
I don't feel bad. This is back when I was building custom rigs for a living, and this is back the days when water cooling was really, really experimental. We were actually making quote-unquote radiators out of old Corvair heat pumps hooked up with 20mm fans.
Wow.
Man.
See, I was about 19 at the time, and I remember water cooling. It was like, you're going to put water in your computer? You're out of your fucking mind. You know? I was like, no, it's a new thing, and it might work. I remember when that first started. I feel old now.
Well, just remember, I was like 14 when this game came out, so yeah.
Jesus. I was about 19, 20.
So yeah. I'm actually young again! Oh, what's kind of funny about this scene we're seeing here, the old Doom 3 website, because yes, I used to frequent that because I couldn't wait for this game to come out, actually had a little shuttle, and it would show when Doom 3 finally launched. And when it finally launched, I couldn't actually get it, because there were two other games in particular that I wanted. I wanted Halo 2 and Battlefront 1. And unfortunately, Halo 2 was the one I bought first. Oh, Halo 2. Oh my god, that game was such a disappointment.
Yeah, at least the multiplayer was fun.
I guess, but that just does not make a game for me, you know?
This is true.
It's like...
Old.
Wait, what?
No, I'm saying something to my daughter. Hold on one second.
Oh, okay.
As for multiplayer,
I'm going to run to the store and get it up.
it wasn't something that I did online. It was something that, like I say, I had purchased at the time for Xboxes and the same amount of CRTs, and I would host LAN parties. So, yeah, Arbon was different than the online amount of fun. Our amount of fun is 16 people, all gamers, all of age, and all drinking.
Yeah. Oh yeah, look at this one.
I remember when this first came out, and it blew my mind. I absolutely loved it. I mean, like, I was a big Doom fan, and then Doom 2. I used to play. We used to have LAN parties back.
Yeah,
And I mean, that is like, what?
exactly, which is kind of sad. Also, there's one big difference between this version and the PC version. This is nothing but a cutscene in this version, but in the PC version you can actually walk around a little bit.
Yeah, you never leave the first person except for minor cutscenes in the PC.
So
Maybe like 2 seconds, I think. Like, to show you, like, going into the character's body. See, I remember, I got it on PC, and the thing that really stuck out to me, and see, it's the little things that count with me. And it was, the first was when you could move the mouse cursor on the PDAs, and you could actually interact with, like, you know, like you could raise and lower the elevators by pushing the up and down button. I thought that was cool. And then I remember in the beginning when the guy checks you in, if you stand there for a while, he'll eventually start typing that there's this annoying guy standing over your shoulder, and he's watching you, and that he's really rude. And I was like, oh damn, I'm self-conscious.
that is pretty cool. Oh, the PDA! How little they knew back then. I was actually...
Well, this is before the iPhone.
What's really kind of funny, though, is I was talking to a younger fan not too long ago. I was like, yeah, they had PDAs in Doom. And they're like, what's a PDA? I thought it was something they just made up for the game. I was like, I'm so old.
Don't feel bad. Like I say, at this time when this came out, I was rocking a BlackBerry PDA for one specific purpose. Every weekend, I'm sitting there running tournaments, and I'm having to reprogram people's multi-$1,000 paintball rigs or Angel IR3s and stuff like that with said PDA.
See, I always wanted a PDA, but I never had a reason to get it, so I never bought one.
They weren't really that useful unless you had like a base purpose, like. But what was mentioned before. People look at stuff and it's like, oh, I can have fun with this. It's like, no, it wasn't made for fun.
Yeah, it was strictly utilitarian. I got my email on it, got my client list on it, and I used it to basically reprogram Angels from the modified 1999 Angels all the way up to the then new 2003 IR3 at World Cup and the occasional Sandridge F5.
So basically it was a professional's tool. What's kind of funny though about that is like, okay, you'd be one of those cool guys who like this PDA and you actually were using it for something other than like looking at the calendar.
I'm afraid you'll get nothing more.
Yeah, but I'm basically like a pit chief. It's a case of, okay, you're using it for something other than a calendar. You're no different than NASCAR pit crew.
Yeah, but it still looks cool. Let's see. Getting a Doom 3 t-shirt. 18 when it came out. Damn, Foxel, you're actually older than me.
Let's go.
And good evening, Epic Jason. I'm just really tired. Another 50-hour work week. Ugh. Let's see. Easily one of the creepiest enemies in Doom 3 are the Trites. Yeah, those are pretty creepy. Let's see. Super Turbo Turkey Puncher 3. A real arcade cabinet.
Yeah, that was, there was a nice little Easter egg where it had the original Doom heads-up display, and I think you could actually beat the game.
Really?
And I think you got an email out of it.
Nice. I'm not going to be doing
all this for a Jape at Capcom.
Oh yeah, I guess that would have been. I never thought about that until literally just this second.
Yeah, well, this is back when ID had a pair of balls. I mean, people call him ID now, but I always called him ID.
Yeah, that's what I did too.
The only way you'd really know the difference is if you were right there.
YouTubers call it a NES and a SNES, like they're sneezing. It's like, no, it's an SNES.
Both are actually acceptable. Both are acceptable on both counts, simply because I remember getting my Doom 1 disc simply because I had gotten my soft disk and my first id games, such as the Commander Keen series, directly from id. I didn't mail mine off. I walked to soft disk.
Wow.
Both are acceptable. You can call it id, you can call it ID. They're both right.
See, that works, but to me, if I see an American guy go, oh, I'll hook it up to my SNES emulator. No, it's SNES. Stop that. You're hurting it.
Also, Sergeant Kelly, my God, look at, I don't know how many crunches he must do. Look at that waist on him. It's like fucking anorexic.
Marine.
Well, the diet on Mars ain't exactly great.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah, this is one of the first times they actually had Space Marines that weren't a ripoff of Aliens.
Yeah, the novel for Doom 3, which was released 5 years after the game. Okay, that's actually a funny story in and of itself. I didn't even know there was a Doom 3 novel until I was working at a grocery store at the time. Public. But anyway, working at a grocery store at the time, and I went to their book section, and I saw Doom 3 sitting, and I was like, what? When did this come out? It came out like in 2009. It doesn't really follow the game very well, or at all, really. It follows the basic concepts of the game, but it's not a one-to-one thing like, say, Doom, the original Doom novelization.
Yeah, they took liberties.
A lot of them. What's funny, though, is some of the ideas in that would later be reused in Doom 2016. The zombies in the Doom 3 novel actually have weapons attached to their arms, just like in Doom 2016, so...
Which kind of took off from Quake, oddly enough. Well, Quake 2.
Yeah, Doom 2016 I never got into. And the sad thing is I when I first saw it, I'm like, it doesn't feel like a Doom game. And part of it was because I got so used to playing Doom 3. And I had the Shareware 95 discs for 1 and 2, and then I had Final Doom. And I got so used to this, where it was more of a slow, methodical pace, where you'd have to take out the flashlight and peer around the corners and stuff. And then it was like really weird, because I was like, this doesn't feel like a Doom game. Like, but no, the originals were all fast like that too. And lo and behold, when it came out, everyone found out that it was just a glorified arena shooter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a bad game, but it's not a Doom game.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is don't slap Doom on it because it doesn't work for you.
Here's the thing. It feels like Painkiller meets Splatterhouse. Now, I like both Painkiller and Splatterhouse, but I'm not going to call them Doom. When 98% of my kills in a Doom, quote-unquote Doom game are close combat, that ain't Doom. Guns are supposed to do the talking.
It's like they took that idea off of, what's that mod? That really popular mod? Death Metal. Brutal Doom.
I'm not sure you want to find it.
Yeah, they wholeheartedly and whole cloth aped Brutal Doom, but they went too far.
I agree. They should have just bought Brutal Doom from the guys and said, hey, thanks so much for this game, and sold it commercially, and they would have made bank.
Possibly. I gotta say, Doom 2016 is not as good as people make it out to be. I like this game a lot more. In fact, I said that in the review.
The immersion to this is a lot better. I mean, as first-person shooters go, ironically enough, at this era, the Xbox had the most immersive first-person shooters. It had this, and it had Namco's Project Breakdown.
Was Project Breakdown the first-person fighter where you could eat the energy bars?
Yep.
That's it. I absolutely loved that game. I thought it was the coolest thing ever because it really stuck to that first-person thing. It put Mirror's Edge to shame.
Yeah, I need to actually look at that game.
It's cheap now. Go for it.
I will have to look at that. I actually, just today, I'll check the chat after I show this off. Just today, finally got my copy of Crimson Skies, High Road to Revenge.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
I just picked up Days Gone last night. I'm really impressed with it.
Out here with all
I have heard interesting things about that.
Yeah, and you know what? A lot of the reviewers that I've heard talk about it, because I love hearing what other people think about it. It doesn't influence how I feel, but I want to know what the general perception of it is. And what's that one guy? Sega Dreamcast guy or some shit like that. He did a review on it, and it was really half-assed. And he was complaining about, oh, well, I couldn't get a hold of the controls because I had trouble healing myself. And I'm like, you mean you couldn't hold the left directional button down for a bit? It does it for you. Oh, the game was too easy. And I'm like, well, why don't you play it on hard? You know, it's just...
Which is it? Is he having trouble with the controls, or is it too easy?
He complained about it quite a bit. He's like, well, it's not too bad, but I give it a 7. He's like, the enemies are really easy, and I don't like it because the enemies aren't bullet sponges. And I'm like, well, yeah, because if you shoot someone 3 times in the chest with an AK-47, they're gonna fall.
Usually it only takes one.
The best way that I could sum up Days Gone is it's The Last of Us merged with Grand Theft Auto. You don't steal a bunch of cars, though. You just ride around on a motorcycle. But it's got that open world feel.
Well, that's high claim.
I like it. I don't. You know, there's a couple technical hiccups, but I dig the story. It's pretty well put together. The voice acting, I heard some complaints about, but I really don't know what they're talking about.
It's got to be better than Ronda Rousey's horrible misdelivery.
Oh, and Mortal Kombat?
Oh, God. I had never heard that woman so bored in my life.
You know,
all right, let me ask you a question. Who sounded more excited to do their role, Ronda Rousey as Sonya Blade or Michael Biehn as Hicks in the Colonial Marines expansion pack?
I'm going to go with Michael Biehn.
Wow, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, that sounds pretty sad.
Like I say, I've never heard Ronda Rousey that bored.
Can make it sound believable.
And let me check the chat here. And hello, Soundbreaker. And the Xbox version is not limited to 4x3, but it's 16x9 somehow. And the Doom movie didn't really follow the basic concept of Doom 3. It turned it into Resident Evil for some reason.
That Ballad of the Black Med Kit.
And the deep dark future, you need a torch. Well, I like the flashlight. Okay, I want to talk about the flashlight a minute. Okay.
I like it.
Yeah, me too. People complain about this all the time, but it's a really neat idea, and it works. It increases the tension, and that's why I hate the BFG edition so much, is because they make it too bright, and they make it attached to you. It's like, I get that in the future they should have super futuristic, night vision, but this I like. It just...
Well, here's the thing. Night vision's great. Night vision requires more power to run than a flashlight. A flashlight is stupid simple. You want stupid simple in the case of an emergency.
Yes.
And it just works. So, oh yeah, this is not in the PC version. Oh crap. Get the shotgun out. You know, I've played this game so much I should remember that these guys are here.
Yeah, to me there was nothing creepier than opening up a door and having to slowly inch your way around with that flashlight out, and that's when you hear an imp, growling. And it's like, uh-oh, and then you gotta switch. And you have that brief second when you switch in between the flashlight and your gun, where it's like, am I gonna make it?
Yeah. And
it worked perfectly.
Now go on.
See, I got the BFG edition later on because I wanted to play the originals, and I should have just smartened up and bought them on Steam for $2.99.
Yeah.
But I got the BFG thing, and then it had the flashlight attached to the guns, and I'm like, this sucks. I'll just leave the flashlight on.
Now, flashlights attached to the gun. Honestly, I'm of the belief that it should have been a quote-unquote power-up and reserved for certain later parts of the game. That's it.
Maybe an upgrade, you know, like you pick, like in Days X, where you could put like a laser sight on a pistol or the assault rifle or something, just as an upgrade, not something that's permanently attached.
Right. Or if you got to go by that route, then, you know, all right, you can have your pistol-mounted or shotgun-mounted flashlight. Its battery life is a lot less than the handheld one.
That and you're completely killing a critical game component there, which is to terrify.
Well, here's the thing. If you do it that way, where, okay, you have a weapon-mounted light, but its battery life is bad. All right, there's another pickup. Batteries for said light. They're rare. This forces you to go back to the handheld light more. You give them the option. You take away something from them to complain about, but you're still basically saying, yeah, you're better off with the handheld light.
Yeah, because at least with the flashlight, we had the technology at the point where if you shook it a couple times, you would get the kinetic energy to turn it on.
Now, in Resurrection of Evil, you do get a pistol-mounted flashlight. But it's only attached to the pistol, and you can run out of ammo for the pistol, and the pistol's weak, so it kind of mitigates that. And this game still looks really good. I mean, this is a game from 2005? Well, 2000...
Really?
Actually, hold on. I know the PC version came out... yeah, this came out in 2005, the Xbox version, not the PC version. PC version was earlier, Xbox version came later, but still, though, for a 2005 Xbox game, this still looks good, even to this day.
The art design beats polygon count.
OG Xbox, first in-game. A gun manufacturer. Oh yeah, that's STG-44 that might or might not ever come out.
Oh, the machine gun.
That's gonna be semi-auto, but yeah. But I haven't heard anything about that since like 2018. No, 2017.
Yeah, it's in limbo.
See, I remember the controversy with Trent Reznor's soundtrack and sounds not going into the game.
He was going to do something for Doom 3? I did not know that.
Yeah, he was supposed to do it, and, you know, to be honest with you, it may have been bullshit, but I remember on PC I had it a while ago, like Trent Reznor's unreleased sound pack, and it made the pistol not sound like a Nerf gun.
Interesting.
You know, like the pistol actually had like a power sound behind it, you know?
Yeah.
Well, he did do all the sound design for Quake.
Yes.
He's got a good backing when it comes to doing sound design for a dark first-person shooter.
Absolutely.
And Doom 3 felt a lot like Doom meets Quake in many instances.
It worked at least, you know? Because both of them were well ahead of their time, and both of them are pretty much, you know, standard, you know, bearers for what a first-person shooter is supposed to be and how to do it right.
They are at that. Now, there's always been complaints about the shotgun. Yeah, it sounds pretty weak, but I kind of like the sound regardless.
You know what? Here's a good example. Did you ever see Terminator on VHS?
Yeah.
And did you ever watch it on DVD and go, why do these guns sound so different?
I haven't actually seen it on DVD. I only saw it on Blu-ray.
They refolded the entire thing.
Yep.
It's always kind of funny to go back to like 80s sound foleying though, because like the ARs in that time period sounded like magnums for some reason.
No, it wasn't like that. It was just they sounded way more realistic than they did in the original. When they gave it the Blu-ray or the DVD treatment, I heard the guns like, wow. I mean, like
Sounds like God slamming a car door.
the 45 long slide hardballer. It had that old school, you know, like Dirty Harry pistol sound, and then they changed it to this shit, and I'm like, ugh.
Now, in the game here, we've got that radio. The radio in the game was something else I quite liked. Because it didn't really add to the overall, you know, like, terror of the game. What is shooting me? Oh, there he is.
The only problem that I had with it is that as you got about midway through the game, they stopped using it.
Yeah, I think the idea behind that was everyone was dead, so it wasn't any way for them to... There's no one left to contact you.
Yeah, but you know what? The thing is that they should have spaced that out then. You know, like you could hear survivors in other areas of the base. If they had done it that way, you could have kept that player having that hope of thinking that they would meet up with people. Because I mean, come on, you're 10 feet from a portal of hell, and there's a scientist standing there that's unarmed, but highly trained Marines dead. Come on.
Yeah, that is true. I think that this game does fall into the same thing where, like, everyone dies way too fast. Dead Space had that same issue where one necromorph can kill an entire ship of Marines. There must be some pretty crappy Marines.
Yeah, but of course you're the lone one.
Everywhere.
Exactly. I kind of like it when the enemies spawn behind you, Geekopolis, or Geek... Blech, I can't talk. 50 hours a week fries my brain. Just because that is kind of scary, and you don't really die that fast. I don't think you could make Doom 3 run on the GameCube or PS2, because you'll notice that the GameCube did not get a port of Jedi Academy, where it got a port of Jedi Knight 2. And I bet that made...
You can, you do not want to.
Yeah, don't recommend it.
No, it will look like hammered ass, and the shadows will not be there. It'll be full bright all the time.
Yeah, because I was wondering why they never got it. You know, it's kind of funny. That reminds me, back when I didn't really know anything about game consoles and how things can get ported, when I got rid of the Xbox, because it failed me for the last time, I wanted to rebuy a lot of those games on, like, the PS2, because that was the console I had. And I was like, can I get Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 on the PS2? They're like, it's not on there. It's like, why isn't it on there? Aren't all the game consoles the same?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't think the PS2 could run anything even approaching this. Nor do...
No, not even.
Yeah, I remember, speaking of, because you brought up Knights of the Old Republic, a couple months back, I bought Knights of the Old Republic 2 on Steam. Because I heard all about this this mod, the Jedi Sith Restoration mod or some shit like that. And it crashed, like, midway through, and I'm like, you son of a bitch.
That sucks.
Yeah,
like,
welcome to the pain. It wants to work, sometimes it just doesn't.
Yeah. But I gotta say, the Xbox version has really good controls. Like, really, really good controls.
I'm running blind. What am I
well, yeah, it was Knights of the Old Republic. That was pretty much tailor-made for the Xbox controller. Knocked it out of the park.
I actually rebought Knights of the Old Republic 1. I already had 2, but I did not have 1. And Knights of the Old Republic 1 still looks pretty good, even though it's only in letterbox. Which kind of
They're pretty timeless, though.
Yeah, graphics still look pretty good.
Speaking of the Old Republic, you know me, I'm the advocate for what the hell is that RTS game? I keep forgetting the name of it. I love the game, but I can't remember the name of it. I'm sorry. What is it? Not Shadows of the Empire. That's
Empire at War.
4 game. Empire at War, yeah. There's a new mod out on Steam called the Yodan mod, I think. Yodan, I think. It's kind of new, but they actually included units from Knights of the Old Republic.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Yodan's been making maps since over a decade now. Because I had a video up a long time ago. It's no longer up now just because of copyright reasons. Of one of his maps. Also, that flaming zombie there, that's the only one in the game. The only one! You never see them ever again. I don't know why they even bothered. It's like...
To be unique.
I think it's they gave you too much in the beginning and then they forgot about everything else later.
Ah, scheisse, I actually forgot about one immersive shooter on the Xbox, which it kind of gave the Xbox an advantage. The Riddick series.
Oh, yeah.
Chronicles of the Arctic were great games. I'll be back in just 1 second. I actually have to fix Steam. I am. It's so great. I gotta fix it. Be right back.
Oh, don't feel bad. I've been having problems with Steam VR. I had to uninstall it and then had to reinstall it later because it's been weird. It just wants to auto start for some strange reason.
Yeah, I've had that happen with Water Fox and things of that nature. World War II weapons, everybody loves the MP44, but not. I'd go for a PPSH 43 or 41. Yeah, there's a good submachine gun.
Yeah, the Peppershaw is solid. It's stupid simple.
The door sounds appear in the Impossible Planet / the Satan Pit, which may or may not involve a base being attacked by a creature who may be the devil. That's pretty cool, actually. I did not know that. Funny that sounds from classic Dooms and PS show up. Stuff like Doctor Who. I did not know. I've not seen enough Doctor Who to know.
And guys, the S is awesome, but I am a forever fan of the Duke controller. I've got big hands, so sue me.
Yeah, I don't, so I'm still using the small one. Of course, this is the wireless controller for the Xbox 360. It's a controller that came off of the Slim model. I'm still using it. I don't have it up here anymore. I must have put it in a box. I also have one of the white ones as well. But the one that came with the Star Wars one was a gold one, but I just don't use it. It's a little gaudy.
Okay, I'm finally
Welcome back. Now the Duke
I had to kill
controller.
the client bootstrapper because it wouldn't load, but now it's back up.
Okay.
But I had no idea that he had been doing work for so long. But you actually have like a lot of the Sith Lords. You have the Ebon Hawk. There's a Sith faction. They also have First Order units. They finally have Mandalorian units that are viable and stand on their own.
Awesome.
Definitely something to look into. I keep my eye on that game and I try to download mods as much as I can, just because. Wow.
Believe you're still alive.
But it's pretty good.
I'm unable to return to Mars City.
Sweet.
All passages
Rain,
out
you
of
said-
the complex have been blocked.
That there's something that came out recently called Hellside, which is kind of like it's an isometric point of view, but you hunt ghosts.
To link up with the
Huh.
Bravo team and get that transmission
Never heard of
sent.
It's an independent game. It's still in the alpha stages. The controls are a bit rough, but I love the concept of it. Like, you actually get to walk around the house and investigate paranormal shit and kill ghosts and stuff. It's like you're a mercenary ghost hunter. You get hired to do an investigation into a house. So you pull out the little. Oh my god! I can't believe I forgot the name of it. The thing that tracks the PKG thing.
PKG.
That's it. You pull out your little PKG thing, and then you find a signal, or you can either pull out a black light and follow blood trails. It's really, really cool. It's rough, but the concept's looking good so far. Something that I'd recommend keeping your eye on if you're into that sort of thing.
And the opposite side, I'd recommend Ghostmaster. It's a little harder to run now on Windows 10, but Windows 8 and 7 runs great, and you actually play as the ghost, scaring the crap out of everyone.
Oh, I've heard of that one. That's like a sequel to Poltergeist.
Almost. They took inspiration from it, but it kind of goes different in that it's almost at times kind of RTS-esque.
One thing that I really wish they would have gone down the route of, because they've made so many Resident Evil games, and I know 2 was really good, it just has no replay value, but I'm surprised they never made a Resident Evil RTS game.
That would be interesting.
Well, just think of it. The game writes itself. Set the game in Raccoon City, set the game in the mansion, you make it company of heroes style, you got 3 factions, you got the humans, you could have civilians that are armed, and you have the cops, you have the SWAT teams. You could have the STARS team come in as a special call-in. You could have an Umbrella team, which is with all their shit. And then you have the bioweapon side. Hunters, Lickers, and the Tyrant as a special unit. It makes itself.
Yeah, the sequel makes itself. It basically the hours right before Resident Evil 2. Raccoon City is now under siege.
Exactly.
Tyrant's the general. Let's just hope he's not a political general.
I think his only politics are rip and tear.
Well, he the focus groups say tear, but he's feeling ripped today.
They need all the firepower they can get.
Yeah, he might
Sending that transmission
surprise
is
us all and
critical
go
to
with
our
crush and maim.
Yeah, but see, that's just too raycast, though. You can't do that. They'll fire him and replace him with Bernie Sanders. No, never mind. Because, you know, that's one of the few living zombies. But anyway, moving right along.
That and Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Ugh, that's too cruel even for Umbrella. Let's see. I have not played
Not too cruel for Clinton.
Bit. Yeah, I never used the Duke controller, although I did have one. It came with a used Xbox, but I actually gave it to my grandfather, who liked it. I have not played the Persona series. I have no idea why the original Xbox 360 was white, other than the fact it liked to cook itself. And Turok Fireseed, everything's going great, even though I'm tired. The original Xbox was indeed very heavy. That thing was dense.
8 pounds.
8 pounds? Damn.
Now imagine moving 4 of them plus, 4 CRTs of about 24 inches. That was my weekend.
Must have arms the size of tree trunks, but at the end of it.
That original Xbox, that was a brute bastard.
Well, it was essentially a Pentium 3 with a custom NVIDIA graphics card. Well, graphics chipset, because it wasn't a card. It was built onto the main motherboard.
You know, it's funny. People don't realize that when you break it down like that, how simple game consoles really are.
Yeah, they're basically just computers shoved into a too small case with bad ventilation.
Exactly. And you're just plugging it into a TV instead of a monitor.
Super turbo turkey punch.
They like it's all intricate and shit. It's not really.
Depends. It used to be. It's really not been in the past 8 years. It used to get intricate in the fact that, like, Sega Genesis, that's almost all custom Yamaha chips.
Yes.
And nowadays, if it's not x86, it's going to be ARM, which you can buy those off-the-shelf components right now.
So
If someone actually knew the specs, they could build their own.
Yeah.
And hello, Rage. And yes, I'm playing Super Turbo Turkey Puncher 3. I just realized that looks exactly like Street Fighter,
Alpha.
EX. Yeah, there you go.
Alpha 3. It's basically a big jape on Capcom.
Yeah, because they can't, never fucking counter Street Fighter games.
if you were punching a rooster, you'd be the cock punch.
Oh my.
Super Cock Blocker 3000.
Oh, you see me in an SJW weekend.
Ouch.
I'll just stay home with Pornhubs. But anyway, that aside.
Saber.
I was thinking of that Steve Seagal parody they did in the Onion News movie. And Seagal is cock puncher.
Now in ultra widescreen.
And
That was one of the few times he actually had a sense of humor about himself.
Oh, he actually in person has a good sense of humor about himself. He's actually a pretty cool guy in person.
Who?
Steven
Seagal?
Seagal. Yeah.
I don't
Steven
know.
Seagal?
From the times I've talked to him down here in Louisiana, he's a pretty good guy.
Oh, when he was doing the sheriff show.
Oh yeah, Steven Seagal's lawman.
No,
You got it right the first time.
A lot of these people, once you meet them, they are really cool. It's just the way that they're portrayed, like they're fucking animals, and people don't realize that they're also human beings. You know, you catch them on a bad day, of course they're going to be a grouchy ass, just like other people. Only they get it magnified because of how often they get bugged.
And not accounting for the show, as a cop goes, he followed procedure pretty well. I mean, I got no complaints about it.
Can you imagine
He was decent at his
Under
job.
arrest.
trying to dissect a keto and calling it bullshit, and it's like, could fucking
Stop
just
running. Can't keep up. I don't need to run. Go.
He made fun of himself too when he was, a cop. So, yeah.
You gotta have a sense of humor. I mean, I'm an even bigger grouch than Tommy Lee Jones.
Seagal's movie,
Tommy's got a guaranteed sense
after
of
Under
humor about
Siege
himself.
or good. Anything after Under Siege, crap.
Yeah, that's just because he was given crap scripts.
Yeah, like the environmentalist one that he did. He tried to spread a message about environmentalism. God
Kicking
forbid.
ass.
these crazy people try to do something good and deliver a message that they're passionate about. They give Steven Seagal shit. And you know what? The movie sucked, but it didn't help that it got all that negative coverage. I mean, it's like no one gave a shit about fucking Sylvester Stallone making a movie about driving a goddamn truck and arm wrestling, but Steven Seagal.
That movie is amazing.
Yeah, you know, it's like when I turn the head around, you know, it's like a switch, you know. Winning's not really about, you know, it's not about the money. All I really care about is the truck.
Didn't Chuck Norris also do like a environmental nature thing? Well,
Oh, yeah.
That was all of Chuck Norris's shit.
we need like a Chuck Norris to Gall crossover movie.
Chuck Norris shaved his chest hair after the Bruce Lee cameo movie to, you know, show the effects of deforestation.
The world has never been so devastated since. They say it took all those years for it to grow back.
Did you come up with that on the spot, or did you rip that off someone else?
There's nothing you can do for me. They're all gone.
Did you, just
man.
did you make that joke up, or was that someone else's joke?
Surprise.
What, the deforestation thing?
Yeah,
Came out of nowhere.
I literally just pulled that out of my ass.
that was amazing.
I thought that actually happened. I wouldn't be surprised. With the way things are today. Let's see. Let me check the chat here. Best BFG. I actually prefer the Doom 3 BFG just because there's a chance for it to blow up if you hold the trigger down too long. There's just something about that I kind of like. It acts more like a prototype than the other ones do.
I have to agree with that assessment because honestly, the first time that I got the BFG, I didn't want to use it because it's a typical first-person shooter thing where you're a Resident Evil thing where you don't want to use Magnum rounds until you really need to use it, and then you finish the game with like 46 fucking rounds.
Yeah.
But the BFG, I didn't want to use it, and then like the first time that I did, as it was building up, I was like, uh-oh, something big is gonna happen. You know, so you got it was a really cool feeling.
Also, you gotta love how in the future, he's, the lawyer, whose name I don't remember, was busy talking into this giant camera-like, video chat thing. It even has its own seat! The future, ladies and gentlemen.
And
Well-
they had the best cheesy dialogue, too. Don't forget, sir, you're the control, and I'm the damage.
Well, that being said, he is, you know, an agent and a lawyer, so I suppose this goes into a case of everything has to be perfect for the courts.
You know, the funny thing is whose side did you choose? You know, when you got a chance to send out the relay for help, did you send the relay like the Sarge wanted you to, or did you, you know, side with the corporate guy and detract it?
Yeah, I sided with Campbell. Oh yeah, we gotta get, when we get to that part, that's an amazing little thing for a Doom game. You actually have multiple factions. You actually have to make a choice. Not that it really matters, but still.
That was his name, was Swan. There's General Campbell, and then there's whatever his title was, Swan.
Counselor.
Chancellor Swan.
No,
Counselor.
Yeah.
Chancellor. What is this, fucking Germany?
Chancellor.
Man, I remember when Doom 3 came out, people were like, look, this isn't Doom, it's just Resident Evil first person.
I didn't think
Who
that.
said that is a moron?
Yeah, they're the same type of people who have called first-person shooters the age of Doom 1 and 2, quote-unquote, Doom clones. That's kind of dumb. They're doing a disservice to the description and doing a disservice to themselves.
See, no matter what option that you choose, they still send out the distress signal because Campbell takes over. But, I don't know. Are we past the point where it's okay to, you know, talk about the later aspects of the game? I mean, the game's been out for like 20 years. If you don't know at this point, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I mean, I think spoilers aren't a big deal at this point.
I always wondered what point when did Campbell get turned into a monster?
No, it's Betruger. Campbell's still a good guy till the end. Well, a gooder guy.
But
No,
Truger's
Campbell, the general.
Oh, you mean Kelly?
Kelly.
Yeah, I think he actually survives close to the end of the game, and then shortly before you get to him, he gets turned. But the
And
instruction
then you get that
manual.
creepy message, Marine, we've been waiting for you.
Yeah. Well, the instruction manual actually kind of implies that he's already been zombified since before the whole thing starts up, but I don't know. It's hard to say.
See, me, I always sided with Swan because it made sense to me, and I don't know. In games like that, I always dig the corporate authority thing, and they try to push it down like they're the bad guys, and then it's like, well, you know what? This guy actually did have the best intentions in mind.
Yeah. I mean, not everyone's going to be Steve Jobs. Everyone.
Well, even Steve Jobs wasn't Steve Jobs.
So,
most of that smoke and
mirrors.
mirrors.
What did Steve Jobs really fucking do?
The only thing he really did that's bad was he screwed over Wozniak for money. That's it.
Oh.
Yeah. I love those tech heads. Oh my God, we lost our prophet when he died. I was like, what the fuck did he do? He just went up to people and said, I want you to put this into this and make it happen or you're fired.
Jobs is a salesman.
Is that what he told his wife before they got it on?
Every night.
Oh, God.
Come out with his fucking turtleneck and be like, this is it. $700. You know, that's when I worked for Apple too, and oh my God, you want to talk about working with the public? Try working with Apple know-it-alls. There are people who like Apple, and you know what? I'm not saying Apple is terrible. And
it is now. Back then it wasn't.
Well, it's shit now. But I'm not making fun of people who own Apple products either. But but they're the ones who think that they're informed. See, we would get fucked in the call centers because you always had people who would call in, how do I connect my Wi-Fi? You know, I'd feel bad because it was like a 90-year-old. But you know what? It's a 90-year-old woman whose son couldn't give less than a shit, would give her these things. And it's like, honey, I don't even know how to use a typewriter. We did smoke signals when I was young, you know? Fucking, I can't get mad at that. But when you had people who, like, spend their lives watching the Apple page the way some people watch their Facebooks all day, waiting for a message or a notification to come in, they would call up our call centers and start asking us questions about shit. And I'm like, I don't know. You found out before I did. Well, how could you work for Apple if you don't know? And I'm like, because you're a fucking nerd.
Because the cult of Cupertino knows no end of hubris, and they don't understand the fact that, okay, sometimes information leaks to the public first before it goes through internal memos. There is such a thing as keeping things confidential and NDAs in the business.
They don't realize that, though. But seriously, they would know shit before I did. Well, how could you know about this? And I'm like, I don't know. Or I would have people calling me up and asking me why their shit wasn't working, and I'm like, I don't know. I didn't build the fucking thing.
Yeah, exactly. I can't imagine.
That was my sign. That was my sign off before I would hang up. And anybody that has not worked in call centers will decry my customer service ability. But if you've ever worked in a customer service representative position where you've had to answer phones from angry customers all day, and they would get sent forms, and even if you couldn't help them, they would still get forms that would determine whether or not you had a job the next day. Yeah, that was my sign off. I didn't build the fucking thing, and then I would hang up on them.
I cannot blame you. Customer service is a level of hell that very.
I don't know. I didn't build the fucking thing.
Exactly. I mean, seriously, and it's the worst thing ever because nowadays the customer is always right. No, they're not.
No, the customer is always right as long as they're willing to listen. If they're not willing to listen, they're no longer right. And if they're not spending money, they're not a customer.
Pretty much. It's just, oh my God, I can't do that. I had a nervous breakdown dealing with that stuff because they would send out forms after every phone call where if a customer didn't like whatever, like if they got a water damaged iPod, that's an automatic. Well, you can't do anything about it. That's how it was back then. I don't know if they fixed it now. I don't care to know either, but. It was literally, if we couldn't fix it, they would get a thing and they would give a negative review, and that would reflect on me. And then, oh cool, I just had a kid, I already have one child, I'm barely keeping a roof over my head because I'm making $9 an hour. Yeah, this person could very well get me fired.
The public.
You just reminded me back in the day when I had to call AOL support often enough.
Well, the inverse of that
That's
is
why I was
Comcast.
laughing earlier.
Comcast,
Actually made-
like I said,
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say I actually made friends with one of the AOL support guys. I don't know. Somehow I was on the phone forever waiting for something to get done, and we ended up talking about like movies and stuff. I'm like, oh hey, cool. Sorry, he just gave me a random memory of back in the day.
it's cool when you have moments like
It was
that.
so terrible that I just figured out how to do it on my own.
Well, this is when they actually used in-source. Well, I guess it would have been at the same time. I know. I heard later they out.
Yeah, and here's the thing. The inverse of that is Comcast. I called
Comcast.
numbers yesterday trying to get in contact with Comcast. It used to be all I had to do was open up my back. I live right in front of their hub. Their hub used to actually have an office attached to it. If I had a problem, all I had to do is open up my back door, walk out my back fence, and I'm there talking with a Comcast representative if it's within business hours. They closed that down. Okay, not a problem, so I thought. I'll just call up the number. There's 4 numbers in the phone book and 4 unlisted numbers. I called each one of those numbers. None of them, not a single one of them, ever ended in even an automated, okay, well, here's the menu system, blah, blah, blah. Now, I would have killed to talk to somebody outsourced. I don't care if you're from India. You're a human voice. I'll take it.
I think they're probably encouraging that online chat crap they do these days.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
actually,
real
not
hard to
entirely
report an
bad.
online problem of connectivity when you can't
Oh,
get
yeah.
online.
Yeah. That might be.
You know what? I got a story to tell you. This was one of my favorites.
Oh, okay. I know
This
too
is
about
really what the
Comcast.
public- I had a guy call in, and I was like, my iPod's not connecting. And it's like you try to do the basics. And what's the first rule in tech support? Rule out the obvious. All right, what's showing on your screen right now when it's plugged in? Nothing. This is some guy in the South. All right.
Yeah, and people in the South.
So it's not-
Oh wait,
Hey.
sorry.
That sounds like heresy to me.
I'm talking like the Deep South.
That's where I'm
Texas is
at.
cool. So anyways, you call it, what's on the screen? Nothing. All right, so a notification isn't showing up? Nothing.
The monitor on?
It gets even better. So finally, after about 5 minutes, he says, "The screen is blank, you stupid son of a bitch." Like that. And I'm like, oh, so the power's not turned on. And then it winds up getting to be one of those things. It's one of those things where it's like, all right, well, let's make sure that the power's turned on. I push the button. It's not turning on. All right, so green light's not showing up. Nothing. Nothing. The camera said nothing. So, all right, well, let's take a look at behind the do you plug it into the front? Do you plug it into the back? How do you do your setup here? And it's all plugged into the back. I'm like, all right, well, let's pull it out and see what's in the back. So he pulls it out and he's like, oh, I'm having a hard time seeing. He's like, I can't really tell. And we're on the phone for about 25 minutes, mind you, because once again, we have to keep our customers happy. 25 minutes in, son of a bitch. Fucking, all right, so what do you see? I can't really see. It's really dark. I was like, you mean it's dark behind the cabinet? I was like, why don't you try pulling it out? He's like, no, it's dark in the room. And it gets better. I was like, well, what do you... Is it nighttime over by you? He's like, yeah, it's 8 o'clock. It's like the only light that I got in here is coming in through the window. And I'm like, well, try turning on the light. He's like, nah, we've had power failure for the last 2 hours now.
Oh god. Oh.
Here's your problem.
Well,
Yeah.
there's one tech support thing I had to do, not like for a professional thing, but for a family member. It's a.
Oh, what's the worst? Is when they call you 4 o'clock in the morning. It won't plug in.
Thankfully, I didn't have anything quite that bad, but when I was trying to explain, click on your hard drive. It's like, what does that look like? And then they said the little record player icon.
That's the one.
Oh.
Oh, trust me. to anyone young here, if you have any form of technical ability, hide it from your family.
Yes. I get phone calls from my mother all the time because she's trying to run like Railroad Tycoon on DOSBox, and it's like all my save files are gone, and I'm just like, that fucking happens.
Oh dear.
At least it's a good choice of game.
Huh?
At least it's a good choice of game.
Oh yeah, Railroad Tycoon was phenomenal. I still play it every now and then. But it's like, how do I do this? Alright, do this, this, and this. Alright, hold on. I'm doing this, and I don't see it. What do you see? I don't know, Mom. I stayed over from you. I can't see. You know? But if I'm over there in person, it's like, alright, can you fix this for me, please? And then I'll try to... Wait! You're going too fast.
Oh, that. Yes.
Oh man.
I know
Bro,
this all
back to
too well.
Comcast. You guys remember that video where the guy was just trying to cancel because they were moving, and the fucking Comcast employee gets kept up going, "Why would you want to cancel? Why? Why would you want to cancel number one service?" He's like, "I just want to cancel. I just want to cancel my service." But no. So it was viral. It was a couple years ago, I think. It was ridiculous.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's why would you want to cancel Comcast?
That's pretty much what I was like. We're number one. Like, what competitor are you getting? What price are you gonna pay? We can match it. Oh my
If
god.
I ever get that, I live literally right outside their hub. I will yank out a big basket of golf balls and a 9-iron and start just railing golf balls into their dish as soon as I get
Adam
that.
Family style.
And speaking of tech support, I had an old friend, but he'd always have me do fucking work on his laptop all the goddamn time, and never pay me. But I just do it just to be nice.
Yeah.
And another friend of mine was like, "Why? Why are you doing that? You know, you could be charging him per hour." Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
You see, with family, I've got no choice. But anyone else? Oh yeah, that's gonna cost.
Yeah, because after a while, it's like, dude, I don't want you calling me at 4 o'clock in the morning with something that I told you to do a year ago that you did not do, and now you're facing the consequences of it.
Nobody better be calling me at 4 in the morning anyway.
I don't know. If someone calls me at 4 o'clock in the morning, we're gonna have some fucking problems. I don't care what the problem is.
Exactly.
It's gonna be...
If somebody's calling at 4 a.m., unless you plan on paying me a substantial amount, you better be either family, a friend of the family, or your ass better be somebody who I know who's now stuck in a ditch somewhere and needs to be hauled out.
Exactly. You better be fucking dying. Although
No, you don't have to be dying. You just, like I say, minimum excuse is my truck's in a ditch. I'll come then. I'll be there.
I hear the dying part, and I think of that stupid-ass commercial. If you or someone that you know died recently, call this number. You might be entitled to compensation.
Oh, man. That is what... Daytime TV, where apparently you can call the various lawyers, and they'll give you your stuff. Oh, yeah, that reminds me. One of the memes on these streams is Adler. There's a Jim Adler in Houston. The Texas Hammer, who's one of the ambulance chasers. He actually has a son who's the Junior Hammer. I find that quite hilarious.
That's awesome.
He's the ball peen hammer.
He's the little, I forget what the name of the one of those tiny hammers is.
The jeweler's hammer?
Yeah, there you go. I've been up since 4 in the morning, so my brain does not work that well.
Too bad it's not his brother, because then you could have the Hammer Brothers.
That could work.
We have an ambulance chaser out in Las Vegas, and his name is Glenn Lerner, and it's called 877-1500. You can't remember. You can't never forget that number.
Yeah, I sadly remember those ads, and I wasn't even in Vegas for that long.
You remember that asshole? That the guy is from Boston. You know, so he's like, I work hard to get your car fixed. You know, and
Yeah, he literally
like,
is
right,
an ambulance
from
chaser.
Boston, and you know, it's, oh my god,
Baston.
Baston. I'll work hard to get your car fixed. I'm Glenn Lerner, the heavy hitter. One call, that's all.
You're kind of becoming
They
like Mike
always
Tyson
do
there.
the one call. That's all crap. That is coast to freaking coast.
I know, but this dude hits the gym, so it's not like you can really make fun of him, you know?
Oh, you could,
my
but you better be
God.
able to back it up.
That guy, his shit is plastered everywhere. And then I almost had a heart attack the last time I was in Phoenix. Excuse me. Because I was in the kitchen, I'm doing dishes, and all of a sudden, I'm attorney Glenn Lerner. I'll work hard to get you money. And I'm like, what the fuck? I run that son of a bitch is on TV. He's got offices in Phoenix.
He followed you.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know if he got
He's your
disbarred
father.
and then had to go to a different state.
No, he's still out in Vegas, though.
Oh, Nevada.
Then he's got to be running
Bad boy
a
talk.
subsidiary or something. The ambulance chasing might have worked for him because being a multiple state attorney, yeah, that's something you don't really do.
Well, he is from Boston.
You know, I've not been
Just-
anywhere to the east of
definitely
Texas.
watched a lot of what was that stupid movie with Matt Damon?
That could be any
Which
number
one?
of
Matt
things.
Damon.
Well, the apple, the mathematician, the janitor.
Oh, God.
The name for it, I'm gonna hate myself forever because it's so obvious. I mean, the only Boston movie that I know of is The Departed, and that's because it was awesome. Jesus, what the hell was that stupid movie?
Oh, I think it was Good Will Hunting, maybe.
Good Will Hunting, that's it.
I've never seen it, but I've heard about it.
Yeah, he probably went to the same. He was probably classmates with Matt Damon.
I didn't even know that was set in Boston. I just know that was a thing with him in it. I think there was like Robin Williams.
Robin
He was-
Williams.
Robin Williams. Something about an apple.
I think I saw chunks of it like a long time ago, but I can barely remember.
I don't know. It's just one of those things that I had never had an interest in.
Yeah,
Speaking of lawyers, though, there's quite a few cases going on right now.
Oh, yes. Okay, let me check the chat. I haven't been paying attention to it because I've been listening to all the great stories. Let's see. Turok 2 mod that has Joshua with a similar setup to the Predator. The only thing you possibly call at 4 a.m. is your call-in.
I was gonna say like the best recent Matt Damon movie I watched was The Martian.
Yeah, that
Ooh,
was
it's
good.
fantastic.
So before the stream, we were talking about Cinemassacre is apparently having some legal issues along with Mars Girl.
They're having legal issues at Cinemassacre?
Or something. I don't know anything about it. I think it was...
Oh no, they're having hardcore censorship issues over there.
Oh, okay. I haven't followed any gossip or anything like that because I just have had, no sleep.
Time.
But, yeah.
Now the only thing that I know of that's going on over on Cinemassacre is that Screenwave has completely fucking turned Cinemassacre into Sinking Massacre. No one wants to have anything to do with them anymore.
What's a
they censor
Screenwave?
everything, they smother
That sounds like Channel Awesome.
Channel Awesome, they blew themselves up quite
Oh, they're
awesomely.
still blowing themselves up.
They're imploding.
Not just Mars Girl. Beth Elderkin. Yeah, she's gonna get absolutely... Pardon my language here. She's gonna get fucked harder than a hooker in a port town.
Oh no, what did she do?
She basically slandered
I'm broadcasting on a very low frequency.
Vic Mignogna and did it
I've locked myself
under the watch of Ty Beard. Basically
wait,
coming
wait,
up
wait.
with
One moment. There's something happening in the game. I just want to comment on this. Okay, this is something that's really sad. This is where this guy is like, can you help me? And I always tried to save the guy because he's hiding in a closet from an imp. But you cannot get to him in time. He always dies before you get there.
I hate that.
Yeah.
You'll
it's-
restart the game like 50 times trying to save someone until it's like, I tried.
What? I always save him.
But that guy, you just can't, you cannot rescue him. So, yeah.
No, you're just not trying hard enough.
Hey, fuck you. He'll always die before you get there. But
Hey,
anyway,
I tried.
But Beth is right up there with Mars Girl in the fact that they're going to get raked over the legal coals very sharpish.
Ouch.
And they only have themselves to blame.
Here's someone up in Rage's neck of the woods. Plastic Jeebus. Did you hear that shit that he pulled with the leak in his basement?
Oh, God.
I heard about the leak, but nothing else. I don't really.
He had a leak in his basement, and the son of a bitch wanted people to donate like $10,000 to fix it.
Well, he already got it fixed, but I didn't hear about that part.
No, dude, people were commenting on the fucking video. Just get a backhoe. Patch it up. Shut up. I've got black mold in my hidden gem collection. Get out of here. $10,000 to fix a leak in the basement.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
That's like the Game Chasers. They wanted $95,000 to make a movie, which I think is fucking absurd. They broke $120,000. And the guy went on and started bitching that they didn't make their stretch goals. It's like, fuck you, dude. Seriously? Because I'm telling you right now that we made Friday the 13th Vengeance on practically half that budget. And I guarantee you that we do a hell of a lot more in that movie than just drive around in an RV and buy video games.
That's just it. These people, they don't quite get it. It's better than half-cock because, yeah, that's some of it.
Oh, I want to open a video game museum. Get the fuck out of there.
Which is bullshit because we already have a video game museum. It's in Forney,
Yeah, they're called
Texas.
retro stores.
No, we actually have one in Forney, Texas. It's worth visiting. I've been there several times. I have a couple of the coffee mugs.
But I mean, like, I've gone to retro stores and they have like shelves that are like, hey, here's an Odyssey, and I'm like, that's nice, and there's a little story about it from what's his face did, Ralph something, when he made it. It's like it's just it's a merry band of e-beggars, and I'm fucking tired of it. I call it a begademic, and it's my God. I have a leak in my basement. My fucking roof blew off. I heard some guy who complained, saying he was going to get hemorrhoids fixed on his ass, and he had to take 2 weeks off work. Someone already donated $1,000 to him, and he half-heartedly, well, if you want to donate something, that'll help. Wait a minute. So you're not getting disability off your job that you claim that you work at. You work full-time, like 60 hours at 2 jobs or some shit like that. Someone gave you $1,000. If you can't make $1,000 last 2 weeks, you are critically hopeless in life.
Yeah, I'll say.
Here's the thing. I can understand going, crowdfunding if you need to, and I mean desperately need to. I'm almost in that situation, because right now things are really, really bad. I am actively going out of my way not to. I really don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. These people, such as Plastic Jeebus and Half-Cocked, these guys don't need it at all.
Oh man, I was gonna look that up, and I was half listening to you guys, and I was like, "What's his name? Metal something?" But I was thinking of Black Metal, but I ended up typing in Black Jesus.
Black Baby Jesus.
I'm like, wait, no, that's not who it is. It's Metal Jesus Rocks or whatever.
I don't have a problem personally with people doing Patreon because you know what? There may come a day when I have to do Patreon, and
well, you could be like Spoonie, who was making $5,000 a month for a movie
for doing nothing.
Fucking do.
Yeah, that was.
That's bullshit. But the thing is, it's like, I'm not saying that I'm not against it because I might actually go down that route someday and I don't want to be a hypocrite. I'm saying that I don't have a problem with it because, yeah, YouTube is not a viable, source of cash income because that can change any day. But it's an issue where it's like, if you're going to invest in my show that way, you need to get some type of a return.
Yeah.
I mean, you would have to go towards improving the quality of the show. Buying a new camera. Hey guys, I bought this new camera thanks to my awesome backers. Thank you very much type of thing. But when you have tiers, like $500 tiers, get the fuck out of my face. And then you don't see the quality of the show improve? That's disgusting.
I'm sorry, a $500 tier, I will custom sculpt miniatures for you.
Exactly. These people, they don't get anything out of it. If you give me $100, you can chat with me in Discord. There's other people that you can chat with for free.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's like the customer something. I mean, at the very least, I could never see myself going above $10. And with $10, it's like I would at least, put you in a raffle to win like a fucking piece of merchandise or a Steam gift card, some type of a thing where a customer could get something back, or not even a customer, but an investor is what I call it. It's just these people. Oh, could you please give me $10,000 to fix a leak in my basement?
Oh man!
$95,000 to film a movie about us driving across the country. How much of that money is going into people's pockets?
Yeah,
all of it.
Was that Patreon or was that GoFundMe?
But you know what? On the other hand of the coin is I try to look at things objectively. People, if they go out and they earn money, that's their God-given right to spend it however they see fit. If they really want to donate this money to these people, that is absolutely their choice. But it's just, the thing is that these scumbags that do it, they give a horrible name to everybody else that's doing it the honest way.
Yeah, here's the thing. If I have to launch this GoFundMe, I want to actually do something to pay it back. I actually want to give anybody who donates, if you guys can help me get my car running, if I ever have to do this, I really don't want to. I want to find a way to pay it back.
Be entertaining. I'll be right back.
Right.
I think this is pretty entertaining.
As for... there's a reason I call GoFundMe GoFraudMe. It's because you got people like Plastic Jeebus, and well, actually I'll call him Dashboard Jeebus from now on. And Mr. Half-Cocked. Even my horribly broke ass. I live in Louisiana, so there's no basements. But if let's say a car came careening through my bedroom, okay, I might be broke, but you better believe I can call somebody right now. If the worst were to happen, to get the zoning signed, I'll sell a few things if I have something to sell. I'll bust my ass doing work more than I already do to go ahead and repair that myself.
Exactly, as opposed to just asking for a handout. It's. I'm
not saying like GoFundMe and stuff can't be useful, but
people abuse it, and then they give a bad name.
Well, how
to
did
it. Like
people survive before it existed too?
Well,
and
here's
there's programs too by grant money and stuff for helping certain situations as well. Sorry, but I didn't mean to talk over you. Sorry.
What the fuck did Alfalfa Beta Sin do? He got demonetized, and then he disappeared. Everybody thought he quit, and now people are finding out that he's still producing episodes, but they're hidden behind a Patreon wall.
Yep.
At that point, it's like, well, I can't make any money anymore, so I have to do this. Why can't you make any money anymore? Well, my videos got demonetized. All right, here's a novel idea. Why don't you clean up your fucking channel?
Or here's an idea.
Content.
And if you're going to do it behind Patreon, do it for like a week or so, and then put it on YouTube.
Oh, it's not even that. Here's something he could do that would work for him. It's called search engine optimization. All he has to do is, okay, I want to do paywall content. All right, do standard content. And your paywall shit is after hours. That's when you can go ahead and say, okay, safe harbor, I can go full freaking retard here and curse until I'm literally blue in the face. Because you're not going to make any money off of that from YouTube, but you damn sure will from the people paying who want to see you do such.
Exactly. But it's just... I swear to God, it's already bad enough that if someone's ever like, hey, what do you do? Well, I make YouTube videos. They go, because their immediate thought is that you're like PewDiePie, who just screams into a microphone and does obnoxious shit. Or you're like that one scumbag who filmed a dead body in the forest. You're not viewed as someone who wants to share your passion with other people. You're just viewed as...
So that's how you make it on YouTube. Okay, we have to like find dead bodies and scream at them.
But you're viewed as
Well, I
somebody
can sculpt, realistic-looking fake dead bodies.
Yeah, fake.
You're just viewed as somebody who doesn't do anything interesting. You just act obnoxious on camera and somehow make a bunch of money doing that. And it's sad, because there are people out there that genuinely love doing this. And it's like, I remember when YouTube was for people who wanted to make movies, and they made characters, and they made shows. It's, hey, what's up with your boy here? Be sure to smash that like button and stare at me in the corner while I eat fucking lasagna while I play this game.
No, it's a Dark Side Phil.
I like that NES review you did, Wolfman, when you put the cartridge, you're like, Oh, and we're supposed to do this.
Oh, that was the Goonies when I
Yeah.
reviewed the Goonies. That's something that never sat with me. I'm gonna hold up the cartridge to show you what I have, like a fucking flight attendant. You know, that doesn't sit with me. It's almost like people who have to film in front of their collection. Like, look what I have.
Here's all of this crap, which is supposed to be gamer cred. Hook.
Look at all this shit that you bought for me. You know, thanks Patreon. It's just if that's what you have to do to prove that you're a nerd, maybe I should start building some shelves, and people might take me seriously.
Yeah,
You know?
so the key to being taken seriously is IKEA and lots of tat, which, you know, people remember and can buy from your average retro game store or off of friggin' your average GameStop or somewhere like that.
Pretty much. It's but then they inflate the prices, and then, like I said, then now they're doing the begging for money thing. It's terrible. Like, these guys gotta go, and the reason why they gotta go is just because, once again, they're leaving a very bad impression, and there's people that stick up for them, and it's blindly doing it too. Like, these people aren't your friend. They don't come over. They don't check up on you.
It's fanboyism.
Look at the amount of clickbait crap that goes on with YouTube.
Here's a really good example of how little some of these people actually care about their people. There was some guy, I forget who the hell it was. Wasn't Woody Woodbeggar. It was some guy. He basically said that he came out and said that one of my Patreons killed themselves.
Okay, and I have returned from the
Welcome
wars.
back.
Oh.
But he basically did a video saying that one of his Patreons killed themselves, and it wasn't like, a longtime supporter or anything like that. There was no sentiment in it. It was just, oh, someone that was giving me money killed themselves. And then he goes into detail talking about how she paid this guy money, like paid extra on the Patreon tier to have video chats with him, where she would tell him really horrific shit about her life and how she was suicidal and stuff. And I'm like, wait a minute, you took money from a person that was saying they were going to kill themselves and looked at you as a lifeline, and you didn't get them help? You just took her money? You piece of shit.
Yeah, I mean, that is some low crap. I mean, James Doohan actually talked a fan out of committing suicide. He actually succeeded, in doing that. He didn't even charge any money.
Yeah, but James Doohan was salt of the earth. He was a freaking hero.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called being a human being, and it's just these people, I don't think they have the ability to be a human.
I think they're still trapped in like a childlike state where they don't really understand, emotions and things of that nature.
Oh, they're stuck in
they
the...
never went outdoors.
Yeah,
They never
hot take here. Actually, this can be tied to a political movement, and it's the Gib me mentality. It's the rejection of adulthood.
Yeah, I can definitely
believe
see that.
But the thing is like, I'm an adult. I do adult things, But I still live in the past. I still watch Howard the Duck, and I say it's fantastic. I still play my NES, the same NES that I had that I grew up with, which I don't even need to blow in the cartridge. It still works great.
And don't blow in the cartridge.
Well, you can be both. Just
But that was the old sentiment, blow in the cartridge, and then it'll magically work. Yeah, until the pins start corroding, and then you're fucked even more.
Mm-hmm.
But
Oh yeah, one thing, real quick. That guy we were guarding, yeah, he dies no matter what you do, which always sucks. I always try to save that guy every time, but it's scripted. He always has to die at the end of this hallway, which fucking sucks.
I did the same thing too.
Because the Doom guy you're playing is a tragic hero.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. I saved them all.
You know what? But if anything, that sentiment right there is so perfect. Because what's the number one claim? That video games desensitize you and make you a murderer? No, we're trying to save these people, and we restart from the last checkpoint.
Well, I was a murderer way before I played any video game. I mean,
casual homicide.
But yeah, you're right.
My God, these people are fucking horrible. Fix my basement, fix my roof. How about fix your show?
Better yet, how about fix yourself?
Well, like
Yeah,
on
exactly.
the, like you said, like a roof is an example. Like there is. I'm just saying, like there's programs that exist for getting like, loans and all that other stuff. You have to do, repairs and stuff.
Okay,
But I don't think you should be asking your supporters on a retro
Right,
video game
right.
show,
That's stupid.
especially if you're making 4 times what they make.
Yeah, at that point, just hold up. If you gotta ask them, hold up a friggin' raffle. Make it worth their time.
And I'm assuming he has house
Give
insurance
them-
anyways.
You would think.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
here's a perfect example for Vengeance. Yeah, the movie was kickstarted, but we also offered people like, hey, if you donated X amount, and it's not the $10,000 thing. Like we did a $99 raffle where the winner got to be killed by Jason.
Which is a pretty cool, gift.
Yeah.
You know, but you're getting something. And what is our one big thing that we're doing with Vengeance? All of our salaries we're donating to the Shriners Children's Hospital.
Which I can salute that.
Exactly. So, you know what? These people that want to fix their roofs, fuck off.
Yeah, you don't need them. You don't need roofs.
But no, seriously, dude, you're
Dude,
making
I've worked as a roofer. I will gladly do that shit for reduced pay.
And you know what? When they give you this money in their Patreon, most people start these things up and then forget about them. You know, I've been donating to the same indie game for 2 years now, $10 a month. But you know what? I don't mind because I really believe in the guy, and he's making an awesome game, and he's doing the best that he can on his own while working at fucking Domino's. You know, I support him 100%. I don't mind doing it. These people do these Patreons. They sign up for them and then they forget about it, and it keeps taking the money out. What happens when the roof is fixed? They're still collecting that money. They're still putting it in their pocket, and it's still going on their wall. And they don't even play the games. They don't even play the games. Like, literally and figuratively. It just sits there on a shelf. It's like, oh, I bought this copy of Stadium Events. Thank you very much. All right,
No.
are you going to play it? No.
No.
But yeah, like
Dashboard Jeebus.
Spoonie's making $500 a month these days.
He was
Patreon.
making a lot more than that, but
Right.
my biggest problem with Half-Cocked and Dashboard Jeebus is the only thing I can point to that they've genuinely done outside of make some really half-hearted videos is push the retro gaming prices up.
Yeah, I've noticed that, which is really quite aggravating. Thankfully, I only really collect Xbox these days, so I don't really care. They're cheap. But...
Oh, that's gonna be next.
Oh god, don't say that!
No, dude, it's Dashboard Jeebus.
On the Genesis right now. So if you want to collect Genesis games, get it before these guys start talking about it.
Oh,
You know, otherwise we'll have the totally unnecessary podcast where they sit there and they talk about games that they are never going to play and scratch their heads and wonder what it's about.
unrelated, but wait, no, go on.
Pat and Ian. Ugh. Those two.
Those guys are characters.
That's one way to put it. I'd put it more bluntly. They're a bunch of chuckle nuts.
Incidentally,
Yeah, so let's talk about Mortal Kombat 11. Did you play it? No. Did you play it? No. Yeah, but you know, it's an alright game, but you didn't play it. How do you know?
how would you know? I don't know why people gotta
And
do
hot
that.
take, Mortal Kombat, I hate to say this, compared to other fighting games, always kind of sucked.
I actually just had this argument this morning because what was it? Some guy who calls himself Dreamcast guy, he did a review on Days Lost. He broke the embargo apparently too, but he did a review and it was one of those things where it was like, oh god, I got to be the first one to talk about it, you know? Because good job, you know, having faith that your audience will tune in and listen to you because they value your opinion. You know, you got to be the first one to do it. But he was talking about it, and he was like, well, this game is unbelievably easy, while he's showing gameplay footage of getting attacked by a bear. And you know, people are like, well, you don't have to be great at video games to review them. Yeah, you do. Because how are you going to give an informed opinion if you suck at it?
Exactly.
And you have to beat a game to be able to review it, because it's like, oh, this was a fucking 10 out of 10. How far did you play? Got about... Yeah, I got past the first 5 cutscenes.
I got to the tutorial.
Yeah, you have to be good, because if you're terrible at playing games, how are you going to give a player an informed opinion about how it plays? That's the one thing that I always hated about AVGN reviews. Oh, these controllers are fucking diarrhea buffalo fuck farts. You know, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. I didn't have a problem playing the game. You know, it's like that's why when I do talk about games, I don't talk about things like controls unless it's a real problem that people can resonate with. You know, it's like show me the problem that you are having instead of just plainly saying it. You know,
Well,
oh god, I keep getting attacked by enemies. It's like the Echo. I reviewed Echo the Dolphin, and I was bitching about the enemies. And while I was bitching about the enemies, you were seeing the goddamn crab in Atlantis come out of nowhere and attack me 50 times.
Yeah, it's because that's actually a brutal and hard game.
I think he
remember
says that
playing
most
through
of
and
the
beating
time
it.
his honest reviews on the games are satire. That's what I heard.
Toxic gases.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing, though: is who knows that they're satire? Really? It's
Yeah,
kind
'cause I
of like
like-
you're telling an inside joke to 1,000,000 people, and only 5 of your friends get the joke.
Yeah, because I really enjoyed Nightmare on Elm Street on NES. I think that's a great game, especially if you can actually find 4 people to play it with. It's not
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, it is
It
surprisingly
also has one of the
good.
best 8-bit soundtracks. Not the best, but like really good. Well done.
Well, that was the biggest issue too, was the LJN thing. I get that LJN is like one of his main staple jokes, but it's got to be kind of accurate at the same time, because who made Nightmare on Elm Street?
Helljan.
No,
No,
Rare for
Rare.
LJN.
What? Oh.
LJN just published this shit because they were a toy company. They got deals with the movie companies because they made toys. So they were able to cut deals with the with whatever movie franchise rights holders, and they made a game off of it.
Yeah,
The people that made Nightmare on Elm Street was Rare. The same people who made Battletoads and Donkey Kong.
Oh
Country.
yeah! God damn it! I don't know what the fuck.
The same people who also made the NES version of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which, to be fair,
correct.
is not a great game, but they tried. You can tell they tried.
They did, because what can you really do with a Roger Rabbit game, to be honest?
Why
with
would you
you?
even want a Roger Rabbit game? That's a better
Honestly,
question.
the only thing you
Unless
can
there's like a
genuinely do with a
Jessica
Roger
Rabbit
Rabbit
game.
game is what Capcom did on the Game Boy. Just go
The
crazy with
Game
it.
Boy game was really good.
Yeah, but that's because they went crazy with it. It's basically, let's turn it to a top-down, action puzzler.
Which is what it should have been. All right, here's another example. Friday the 13th on the NES. Who made that?
Yet again, Rare.
Atlas.
Atlas, you're right.
Atlas. The
One of those
most
days,
acclaimed
man.
RPG, underground RPG makers ever made Friday the 13th.
I don't think Friday the 13th is that bad either. So.
Friday the 13th isn't that bad, but it's one of those games that you have to beat in the first 25 minutes, otherwise you're going to get overwhelmed and then you're done.
Yeah, it was a rent-it game back then, and now that it's cheap, yeah, pick it up. It's not bad.
Doo-doo, 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 doo-doo. Ugh.
You know,
Yeah,
but
X-Men
that's
on
the
this
thing.
would be worse.
What was?
X-Men on the Nintendo.
Oh, to this day, we don't know who made
Don't
that.
talk about it. I mean, like, that's on par with don't talk about Spider-Man and the Sinister Six.
Yeah, that's Super Monkey Boken levels of just what the fuckery.
And I've never even heard of that.
Be glad you haven't. It is probably the worst NES. Well, it's not even an NES game. It's a Famicom game. We were blessed not to have the absolute worst here
See,
in
I
the
can
US.
watch AVGN episodes, and I'll watch the early ones and still enjoy them and get into them because they really were good.
Didn't
But, you get into
LJN
the
also?
joke, but the problem is that people did not get the joke. They thought it was serious. So there's so many forums. Oh, LJN must have fucking made this one. And the thing is that you can tell when someone is being dead serious with that remark. No, LJN didn't make anything. It had absolutely nothing to do with it. They published it.
And
Like
NECA,
Jaws.
okay.
And
Oh my
yes,
God.
Alien
Jaws.
3
How
was
about
published by
that?
LGN.
Jaws.
Yeah, the SNES one. Right?
Both. They were both made by
Or,
Probe.
I guess all three.
Probe. Now here's the real thing about LJN people don't realize, and this goes to my hobby. LJN at one time published a game and a toy set trying to market off of paintball
Huh, I did not know that.
called Splat. Called
Was that
Gotcha here in the
That
US.
was a Snapper game, right?
Yeah, it was Gotcha here in the US. It was supposed to be called Splat everywhere else.
I remember
And-
Gotcha, the sport.
Yeah, it was a cheap ass pseudo paintball marker and an okay light gun game. I won't say it was terrible. And the thing is that it broke the rules of paintball in the toy version because number one, you can't wash that crap. It doesn't wash out. You would ruin your clothes.
Yep. No one ever knew that until it was too late. Until after your mom beat the shit out of you.
So Beam Software is responsible for those wonderful Back to the Future games.
Beam Software also did Bram Stoker's Dracula, so that's not much of a fucking benchmark for you.
Yeah.
Fred Fox. Oh,
but then again, Sony did the Sega CD version of Dracula, which was even worse.
Oh! That game over screen. Oh my god. And then there was Night Trap. I'll never forget Night Trap. I know Night Trap Hasbro did, technically, but I will never forget Night Trap as long as I live. That's why I had to review it, because it was just so timeless. And that was really one of my favorite episodes to do, because I really I got a chance to have fun and make fun of the FMV verse. It was great. I'm from the Sega High Intelligence Tactical Team or something like that. I'm from the Sega High Intelligence Team. I had so much fun with that. And the thing is, people that look at stuff like this now, like, oh, this is horrible. What were they thinking? When this stuff came out, it was entertaining to us.
Yeah, as in terms of acronyms, though, it kind of beats,
I'm gonna fucking kill myself. Yep, I
did. You ever play Master of Darkness? Thing came out on the Sega Master and Game Gear.
Master Darkness was actually pretty good for the Sega Master System.
I love the Master System growing up.
Let's see.
It's a Castlevania-ass game. Only have like.
Oh, it's a straight rip of Castlevania.
Let's try
but it's a good rip.
Alpha Lab Sector 3. Okay, I did not save before I fought that boss. Usually I kill it in one go, but oh well.
Oh yeah, this week Brando recommended that I check out Shotgun the Forever Man.
I've still got my copy.
All I can say is that I essentially finished off the episode by I ran out of time, and then I lost the item that I got fighting the second character thing. You know what I'm talking about? And then I stopped, I lit up a cigarette, and then I said, they say smoking is bad for you, but so is playing Shotgun the Forever Man. And then I just cut it. I was done.
It's not false. That is a brutal freaking game.
It is.
And unfortunately, I have to go all the way back because I didn't save.
I thought it auto-saved. How's that for taking things for granted? Back in the day, you didn't have auto-save.
That is true, and I think somebody asked a question a little while ago about the chair I had. It was some cheapo from Walmart, just like what I have now. It wasn't particular.
Back then, our microtransactions were memory cards.
What's really terrible is when you get used to auto-saving and you play an older game and you're like, ah, shit, I got a manual save.
Yeah. I prefer manual saving anyway, though.
That's something that I noticed in Days Gone, is that the game auto-saves, but you actually can just auto-save yourself when you're on your bike and you're not getting attacked.
Which is definitely a nice feature.
Oh yeah, all you have to do is just hold down triangle and it auto-saves. And then that fucking guy that reviewed it, I was having a hard time healing myself. You literally have to hold down left on the directional button until the thing fills, and it heals.
I kind of wish more online games had the take a break feature that Left 4 Dead 2 and Alien Form has. Sometimes it comes in handy.
Good.
They are pretty neat.
And Neighbors from Hell. That actually is a good game.
Neighbors from Hell was fun. I used to play that all the time.
I never even heard of it.
One thing that I was really hooked on, I'm a huge proponent of Bullfrog. I love Bullfrog games.
I was gonna say, speaking of Neighbors, Lotz, we never finished Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
Yeah, that's true. But then again, that got old
so
fast.
I know. See, before I started doing the Scary Jersey Guy thing, I was doing Analog Age with my friend Jimmy, and he wanted to do Zombies Ate My Neighbors, and we sat down and recorded our playthrough of it. And by like hour 3.5, he had already died like an hour before, and I'm still going through. I'm like, this game's fucking long. And he's sitting there like, I'm bored.
We cheated. We were like, oh, this game is going on forever.
Yeah, that's why they had the password system, because they didn't expect or it had the idea anybody was like, oh, let's straight shot it. No.
Yeah, you can't finish that in one sitting.
You can, but that one sitting will last you almost 12 hours.
My God. I didn't even like it that much anyway, to be honest.
It requires a bottle of Shasta and a brush mix.
Oh, back then, this was right before I got my Neo Geo. This is basically, I rented it one weekend. I was like, okay, I've got to save up and save up and save up. This is my one splurge for the year. So I ended up grabbing myself 2 bottles of orange knee-high. We're talking the gallon bottles. And I rented Zombies Ate My Neighbors. And I realized that this is my weekend. This is all I've got because everything else is going to the Neo Geo. So I played through it. 12 hours later, both bottles of knee-high completely gone, and my kidneys are now in my throat.
How was Ghoul Patrol?
I made a mistake last week because, I'm like, hey, let's change up the format a bit. We're doing Castlevania every week, but let's not piss off the core audience and play something new and forget about Castlevania. So I did the Castlevania thing, and I'm like, all right, what's something new that we can do? How about a hack of Zelda 2, The Adventures of Link? I'm like, I can get through that in like an hour and a half. 4 hours later.
You still haven't got the sword.
Oh, I beat the whole goddamn game. It's like 7 or 8 20-minute clips.
Oh.
But it was just, I could knock this out in an hour and a half. No.
Yeah, I started going through Newtopia 1 and 2. Oh, I got this. This will be like 2 hours. 12 hours later.
If anything, that's actually what killed What a Horrible Night to Have a Review, was doing that Resident Evil thing. I mean, I thought that it would have been cool to do like a Resident Evil retrospective leading up until release date of the remix. The remake. And I did the first episode. It was really good. Everything was smooth. It turned out to be one of my best recordings in my young career going absolutely nowhere. But then I did Resident Evil 2. And that just, it killed me. And the reason why it killed me, it's not that I had to play the game 4 times. I can live with that. It was the fact that I recorded Leon's playthrough, and then I recorded Claire's B playthrough, and then when I went to go look back at the other stuff, it was already like 4 hours down, mind you. So I go back to look at the footage, and for some reason OBS, which can go, should be fucking thrown out of the helicopter,
Crap.
It just recorded It recorded the upper right-hand corner of the game.
Oh, God.
And that was it. So all I got was like this really zoomed-in look on the upper right-hand corner, and I'm like, so I have to go back and replay this. So just recording the gameplay footage, because I can't play 20 minutes and then say, oh, I played the game. No, I have to play the entire thing through. I feel that the audience kind of deserves not to have their intelligence insulted.
Yeah.
So there was 4.5 hours that I completely wasted, and then there was editing it, which I didn't mind. I love to edit, but it was just just recording that thing wound up taking me over 2.5 weeks to do, and all I did was talk about it. I didn't film anything. I didn't build any sets. That burned me out, spending all that time playing that goddamn game that I didn't really care for to begin with.
Yeah, the only easy game I could really do, that I can say honestly, that I can knock that out in about 45 minutes. I should do it less so I can speedrun it. Is Strider, the arcade version. That's it.
Strider still holds up to this day.
Yeah, I never actually finished that. I've played the Genesis version, but it's just not really my favorite arcade game.
I played the NES version.
Yeah.
NES version is actually kind of hard to speedrun.
Dude. I like the cutscenes and stuff.
The only thing, well, you know what? I'd like to say that I'm decent, but the franchise that I know I own is Castlevania.
Oh crap! Crap!
Yeah, you've surpassed anything I could have done.
Yeah, that no whip run that was popular for about a week.
Shit. Yeah, most of those games like that, I mean, I don't dislike them, but that's really not my thing. Castlevania 1, at the very least, and 2 and 3, actually, all were out long before I was even born, surprisingly enough.
See, See, Castlevania's been a part of my family because, I mean, I grew up playing it. I raised my kids playing it because that was the only thing that they would sit still for.
Yeah.
Like those two, they would run all over the place. But if I threw on Castlevania, they would actually sit down on my lap and they would take a nap, and they were happy. And I just had to keep restarting it over and over.
It is time, my children. Time for what? Castlevania.
Oh no, it was a really simple formula, especially for my youngest daughter, because Castlevania 1, that was her nap time thing. Like when she was getting cranky, I had to put on Castlevania, so that's how she would take a nap. Castlevania 2, funny enough, she would actually sit up and watch me play through the whole damn game. And then Castlevania 3, it was one or the other. She would either fall asleep or she would stay up and watch it.
Nice.
You know, but it was a give or take on Castlevania 3. But some of the mods and the fan hacks that I've had a chance to play, there are some really good ones out. Like if you're a Castlevania fan, I've said it 1.5 billion times on my channel, you gotta check out Seal of the Curse. It's a sequel to Castlevania 2.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Definitely want to get a repro card of that made.
You've played Seal of the Curse?
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of it?
I like it a lot, so much that, like I say, I want a repro card of it made.
I wonder if maybe you can contact Arc House and see if maybe they'll do it. That would be nice.
There's a few services I could probably get to burn one for me, but the hard part is the label art.
Because they were pretty adamant about making sure that you knew that they weren't making money off of that game.
Yeah. It's one of those I want to play it on.
The Grim Reaper's third form.
Yeah, I want to see what that looks like on my PVM. I've played it on LCDs, but it's like I really want to play this on OEM hardware.
Fancy.
Yeah, I would love to see that because I had so much fun with that. Like I was blown away by the art style, and the music was fantastic. It reminded me of like Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula style, but it also reminded me of a Tim Burton movie in some ways.
Very much so.
So wait, it had Johnny Depp in it?
I wish.
Yes, 8-bit Johnny Depp.
Is Dracula.
Captain Jack Sparrow. But anyway, Jack Sparrow aside. What's that long handle in front of the pump action? I have no idea what that's supposed to be.
The shotgun in this game. Actually, what's funny is if you look at it, that's a charging handle, meaning that shotgun is like the Spas 12 or the TriStar Cobra 12. It's a semi-auto, which is changeable to pump, and our Marine is firing it in pump mode.
Also, it's on the wrong side. Unless
No,
he's a
it could be a lefty.
He's a heretic.
Ironically, here's the funny thing. When it comes to shotguns, a left-handed shotgun is actually faster in the hands of a right-hander and vice versa.
Huh, that's weird.
Also,
using the transmission card.
And one of
the fact that you can charge it quicker because there's less movement.
Back to Castlevania, I was gonna say that Super Castlevania or Castlevania 4, I think has like the best like whip physics I've seen, like the 2D games.
Castlevania 4 is overrated though.
Heresy.
I wouldn't mind seeing some ROM hacks.
I'm a Bloodlines fan.
I love Bloodlines. Bloodlines was really underrated. So you know what, Super Castlevania 4, I'm not saying that it's bad, I'm just saying it's overrated, because all it really was, it was just one, done all over it again the same way that they did Super Mario Brothers, you know?
Yeah, but here's the thing. When it comes to the redo of 1, there's 2 redos of 1. You got Super Castlevania 4, which is good, I do like it, but if you're going to go that route, you're going to I hate to say this, but you're probably going to have to go Yarhar Matey, because both versions are expensive. Either go the Sharp 68,000 version, which, yeah, good luck with that, or you go with the PlayStation version of Castlevania Chronicles, which is sadly also expensive.
That was brutally hard.
And that is something I would never even try to complete.
No, it's quite good.
It was really good. It was just brutal. I think that's one of those. I put on what was it? Mike from Cinemassacre. He did a live stream. He was trying to beat Chronicles, and it took like 3 weeks for him to do it.
Speaking of brutally hard games, a fan actually was able to complete Jurassic Park Part 2: The Chaos Continues on medium and then later hard.
That's right up there with Contra in terms of difficulty.
I beat that as a kid. Chaos Continues, and it was a really cool game. Everybody said, "Oh, it's like Contra," and they're like, "Well, what the fuck? It's an improvement over 1." You know?
Yeah, its difficulty is like Contra, but it's not really like Contra.
Got a shit ending.
Yeah, we just fly away in a helicopter. I never actually was able to beat it as a kid. I barely beat it as an adult with save states, because damn.
Yeah. That game did not play. That's something else that's coming out this week, too. I'm finally getting stuff organized, because now that I'm done having service people come into the house and fix things, I've already spent like $5,000 this week, and I can assure you that none of it is Patreon money on homeowners. But that's something else that's coming out that I'm doing too, is an enhancement pack for Contra Hardcore.
Hardcore was actually quite a bit of fun. Rage and I actually played through the entire thing with God mode on.
You bastards.
Hey, you know.
Well, okay. Well, the next easiest option is the Japanese version.
Yeah.
Or God mode. God mode is the easiest though, because holy crap, how you were expected to do that even on an easy mode? Holy shit!
Yeah, you had to be good.
Yeah, it was an anti-rental technique, but it was also okay. You paid for a Treasure Konami game. You damn sure got your money's worth.
Yes, you did.
I would say.
Oh man, how did you beat Ninja Gaiden? Practice.
Save states.
I'd say on the PS2, check out Contra Shattered Shoulder.
I've got the funniest story about that.
That's more of a Metal Slug game than it is Contra.
Well, yes and no. It's somewhere between Metal Slug and a Score Attack. Here's the funniest thing I have about that game. I have owned 4 copies of it. I have, unfortunately, had that in the disk drive of 4 PlayStation 2s as they died.
It's so hardcore. That was your PS2.
And the thing is, the funny thing is, that game doesn't constantly access the laser. I don't know what it is. I just have the world's worst luck with that game. I love it to death. I can almost S-rank it. I always screw up at the last boss, but I can almost
game is hard.
S-rank it.
Oh man.
Speaking of Metal Slug, are they done with that franchise yet?
Nope, we're getting a new one.
Really?
I can't wait. I mean, the last that I played was the mobile game, and that was pretty fun. But then they changed it around, and I don't want to touch it anymore.
Yeah,
they're going back to the
Slug,
traditional
you play
Metal Slug.
as 2 purple-haired SJW. Yeah, I'm kidding.
That's why I lose my will to live.
This is another kind of a sad scene. It's the only chick in the entire game, and she gets her head turned into a lost soul.
A waifu.
Well, I can't put that on my luck, fella. But anyway.
Oh, you can. That's going to be the hardest path ever.
The challenge accepted.
Metal Slug was really kick-ass, though. I mean, I just don't have my eye on anything new, though. I mean, if I see Metal Slug's release date coming up, I'll definitely check it out. But I mean, what is there really coming out that's caught my eye? It's like Mortal Kombat 11 just came out.
Oh!
That didn't sound good.
Oh, that was not pleasant.
That's what you think of Mortal Kombat 11?
Oh, I don't know. I don't care about Mortal Kombat.
Self-brutality.
Oh, man. I just cracked my knee into the desk. Oh.
Al? I'm just not too terribly interested in MK11. I mean,
that's okay. We've got a Samurai Showdown coming, too.
I loved Samurai Showdown back in the day. Anything Neo Geo touched was gold.
The last Mortal Kombat game I really got into was
Geo
Armageddon, and that was because of the Creative Fire stuff.
Yeah, that was pretty good. And Big Swole, I have not played the co-op version of Return to Castle Wolfenstein, but I do own the Xbox version of that game, though.
Wolfman, did you ever play Shattered Soldier on PS2? Yeah,
was that
Wolfman.
What's up?
Did you ever play Contra Shattered Soldier on the PS2?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, my knee still hurts.
That's all I can do is just give the classic Jeff Farmer response from that old, I forget what territory he was when he recorded that promo, the wrestler, Jeff Farmer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Europe.
Oh, he wasn't with the NWA at that time. Who was he with? God damn it! Now I'm gonna have to look this up.
Yeah, just Google Jeff Farmer. Yep.
Jeff Farmer. Yep. Downloaded Gears 4 on my PC with 4 GB of RAM and it won't play. I'm not surprised. Rather call it a Metroidvania. Last Metal Slug was Metal Slug XX, not. The Metal Slug Anthology is quite excellent, though. It has all the games on
Yes.
it. I had this also
Very
for the
solid.
PSP.
No, sir. Okay, back to the communications
Excuse me.
facility.
No, that was a very solid PS2 title.
Whatever you say, counselor.
To the Mars Mobile. I like how there's an SUV on Mars, though.
No.
Instead of a Land Rover.
The PS2 had Greek.
That it did. Alright, I'll check the...
PS2, you're never going to have a system like...
Yeah, he was with NWA then.
Yep.
And for those who like wrestling, there's your wrestling thing for the day. I know nothing about wrestling, other than sweaty men who attack each other. I like it when the half-naked chicks fight each other. That's always the most entertaining for me, but...
Hey, it's still real to me, damn it.
This is coming from someone who's been in the ring. The impacts aren't real, but everything else is.
Oh dear.
It's a soap opera.
Yeah, it's a soap opera which requires you to be amazingly athletic and be able to take it fall.
She's a stunt.
Oh dear. But all that aside, ladies and gentlemen, that of course is Doom 3. We're going to come back to it next week. Hope everyone had a lot of fun. I'm glad we got Wolfman in on this. So we've got even more commentators going on.
Yeah, it's happy to be back.
It is awesome. So with that, I am GeneralLotz, and I have been joined by...
Radic.
And?
I think he fell asleep. Wolfman's got nards.
I said Rage Killer. Sorry, I kind of mumbled it out.
Okay, there you go. And we're going to wish you good Doom 3, Space Hunters, whatever makes you happy.
It was good chatting with you.